I can hardly remember, maybe from 3rd grade on, going to sleep without hearing the helicopter. I can remember my grandfather trying to make sure that they didn't come and knock down our door because they got the wrong house. That was the buzz around the neighborhood. Make sure LAPD doesn't knock down your door because they were knocking down the wrong doors. The late 80s hit, and that's when you saw the crack cocaine epidemic, and it began to feel like a war zone. As I was growing up, I didn't know it was South Central LA. That's not what it was called. It was called LA, and I didn't find out it was South Central LA until I was watching the news the day that the LA riots started after the Rodney King incident and the Reginald Denny incident. That's when I received a label for my neighborhood. My mom, she was in and out because she was addicted to crack cocaine. I remember the day that it switched, where inside of me I felt like I need to say something to her. It was one word, and it was stop. And it was really loud, and then I just ran out the back door. That was 5th grade. I then started to deal with what I believe was undiagnosed depression. And for me, it came out in the form of anger. I created this person that was untouchable. There was one day, my grandfather was really, really sick. This was near the end of his days. This was in 9th grade, and this boy, he was always on me. And he said whatever he said, I don't even remember what he said, but in a split second, I was at his seat with my hands around his neck. And I was so angry, I was in tears, crying hysterically, and trying to choke this kid out. So I started getting pulled out of class and going to sit with that teacher. And this teacher was doubling, I guess, as the counselor at school. And for the first time in my life, I told someone what was going on. My grades changed from essentially D's and F's and maybe a few C's here to straight A's. And she was so just loving and you know, like she just never doubted me, and she was so empowering. And then I never looked back. I started running and found out I was good at it, and eventually earned looks from universities, chose Arizona State University, and Olympics certainly was a thought. And was able to run times to get me Olympic qualifications, but my focus always was on not becoming what I had witnessed. Substance abuse, suicide, bullying, body image, internet safety or digital behavior, and unhealthy relationships. If we don't deal with those issues, they will get worse. That's why prevention is so important. And that's prevention, dealing with it little by little, not getting to the point where there's a crisis and now we need to treat it.
Good deal. Are you having a good day? Not so much. Sit close to the front.
It's tough. It's really tough being a kid.
Are you having a good day?
I ask parents all the time, how many of you would go back to the 7th grade? Even at 40 years old, you have people still recovering from the 7th grade. Tap back into that and just remember what that was like.
There are going to be different influences, and so today the influence is the media. So we have 5 questions that are going to be answered today. Josh, can you give us question number 1?
How do the media influence your benefits about yourself, your culture, and various health behaviors?
There's a message even within the message, right? And if you look a little bit deeper, if you think a little bit deeper, you may be able to see an underlying message. Yeah?
Sometimes parents will say, well, my kids don't want me in their business. You want to be in their business. You want to be relatable to them. You want to have that communication. You don't want to allow your kid to feel like they're growing up on their own. I always remembered that that's where she told me to go to my faith. And so I always had a very, very strong connection to God. And that was specifically because of my mom. And so before she passed away, I did convert. And I told her my mom was Christian and I converted to Islam. And I was very comfortable that she was at peace, that I was happy, that I wasn't struggling anymore. My mom died 7 years after she went into recovery. I was still mean, and this is the part that makes me like really emotional, because I was still really mean. And, you know, I just didn't trust, like, are you really gonna do this? And so she wore this bracelet that signified I am in recovery and I'm staying in recovery. And she wouldn't take that off. And she was buried with that bracelet. And I'm so proud of her, you know, and that's the reason that I'm in prevention. Because I know that prevention works, but I also know that recovery is possible.
You guys stay off the track. Stay out of lane 1. Stay out of lane 1. These guys are running. Go, Kajor, go, 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 go. Use your arms, use your arms. Go, go, go. Stay in your lane. Use your arms.
Good arms. It took me almost seemed like 3 years for her to just smile at me.
It's not a job for me. What I do is not a job. It's what I do. It's my passion.
Jumping jacks. Ready. Begin.
I don't even call it work. Every day when I wake up to a new day, it's just what I do.
7.
Now I have a beautiful family. You know, I have a wonderfully supportive husband. And then I have kids that are watching me.
9, 11, no 10.
And as they're getting older, I'm watching them, starting to go through some things, and it scares me.
I've got to get the throwers onto their technical stuff.
Knowing that that small child, that middle school, that 7th grader, and that high school girl still lives in me allows me to be able to go back and connect with my kids.
Ready, go. Shut it down. I would like if you could offer your brother some support to say, hey, why don't you go ahead and try it?
But whenever I'm in the middle of a really, really good workout I'm really focused on with my sound canceling headphones on, the bell always rings for a group.
All right,
No one's ever seen me cry about my mom. The tears are, I wish I could apologize to her, you know. I was so sure of myself, you know, thought I knew. And I would tell her, you know what, your weakness is my strength. And I would use it as a jab. And she would always come back with a, I'm glad. I'm glad that my weakness is your strength. Now that I'm a mom, I completely get that. You know, as a teenager, you know, I just thought, she just won't let me get her. But as a mom, I would give every one of my weaknesses to turn it into strength for my kids, for sure. You know, if they can use it to catapult themselves into a life of happiness, absolutely. I just wish I had one more opportunity to tell her thank you for that gift, because she really gave me my entire life. You know, more than the day that she had me, but my entire life. And everything that I'm doing today is because of my mom.